My name is Fumilayo Braithwaite. I'm the founder and president of Talented Young African Writers Foundation. As far back as I can remember, I've been writing for like 53 years now. I started writing when I was 2 or 3, and that's because of this Sweet Talks column that they had at in this newspaper, Nigeria Tribune. So every morning, when I was even in nursery school, when I'm going to school, my father would make me read that column to him as he takes me to school. So I just love writing. I just love the fact that they are able to make up stories for children to read, and I got really inspired from them.
This is hashtag 50 African Stories. 40 stories discovered, 10 to go. Prepare to be inspired.
It's time to talk.
So I know a lot of children that did not grow up in Nigeria, but are so passionate about Nigeria. They talk about Nigeria. Some of them have never been to Nigeria, but they've had stories, and they talk about things they will do to help to improve Nigeria. So that's just like a call to people to try and be ambassadors of their country. Try and be an ambassador of Nigeria. You don't have to even live in Nigeria. You can be in any part of the world, but make sure that when they see what you are doing, Nigeria will be proud that you are part of them. Is Echoes of Yesteryears. That book won an award in 1995. It won the Association of Nigerian Authors Spectrum Award in 1995 for literature. And it's because of the amount of emotions I put into it. I had to do a back and forth scenarios, and it was such a huge success then, and it made me really believe in myself. I think little children talk about the fact that they want to read, they want to write, but they can't go to school because their parents cannot pay their school fees, or some of them, their parents can pay their school fees, but they don't want them to read or write because they don't think that they will make so much from reading and writing. Because these days, reading and writing have been taken over by the internet, so children don't even want to read. So when I get them talk passionately about reading, about writing, it gives me so much pleasure that we're on the right path, and that very soon we'll get every child reading books. So the vision behind Talented Young African Writers is to encourage young children to read and write. To encourage them to read and write, to encourage them, to give them a platform to express themselves. Some people want to read and write, some people just don't have mentors. They don't have anyone to talk to. So when I sit with children and talk about their challenges and they talk about things, I let them know that I started writing at a very young age, and I started writing when it wasn't even fashionable to write. People are surprised, especially my parents are surprised that children ask for toys, but I ask for books. When they say, what do you want us to buy? I ask for books. And I sit down and I use this 2A exercise book back then, and I just write and write and write. So I let them know that, look, the sky is your limit. If you cannot go somewhere with a flight, you can go with your mind when you read and when you write. So I try to encourage as many people as possible to read and write, and to do what they can do to improve their talent in reading and writing. A lot of our children don't even read and write. A lot of them have lost history. They don't want to read and write. But I know there's so much hidden in reading and writing. In fact, we are getting our stories told now because Africans are speaking. Before, it's other people that tell our stories, so they say it's according to what suits them. But I know that with the way people are coming up now and people are being encouraged to read and write, I'm sure that the next generation will even take it to a better level. They will put in more research, and with all this internet, this AI thing, would help them to improve reading and writing, and will help them to bring out the African story in a much better way. And malaria is actually very passionate to me because I wrote it after a friend of mine lost his son due to malaria. Nigerians don't believe that malaria is anything, they just say it's just malaria. But I know that malaria has killed a lot of people more than some other diseases that we actually hold very dear. So it's a way of letting people know that this malaria is a deadly disease. It kills. There are precautions we can take. There are things we can do. There are remedies to it when we have it. You have malaria, you think you have malaria, go and get tested first. and take the medication you are given. So I know that we need a lot of awareness. A lot of people in the rural areas don't even know how to treat malaria. You take mosquito nets to them, and the next time you go, you find them using it to fish or do other things. They don't even want to use it. So Nigerians have to increase the awareness of how to curb malaria, and we have to just get people aware about the symptoms of malaria and how to cure malaria. The happiness I feel when I see a university graduate dissect my book and put it in ways that I am so glad because they're doing it the way I want to do it. Then one of my books, Political Crisis, was used for basic education certificate examinations in Lagos for about 4 years. So that means that every child in GSS 3 had to buy the book. I put my number on the book, and you see a child calling you at 11 p.m. saying, "Hello, is that familiar Braithwaite? I like your book. It's so inspiring. In fact, sometimes I'm close to tears. My friends are saying, you are not angry they are calling you at night." I said, no, I'm not. I'm happy that children are seeing what it is like for a book to be written, and they are calling to ask me more questions. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? It's a very glorifying time, and when I see such occasions, I'm always glad to say yes. I'm glad that I've put in this effort and it's been appreciated. So I'll recommend Political Crisis for the politically oriented people, because Political Crisis talks about the struggles of female candidates who are in the political race. It talks about the fact that a female politician has to put in a lot more than a male counterpart. So, and it's a twist of a lot of events. It's something I would really recommend for people to go out and watch. Another book I'll recommend for them is Echoes of Yesteryears. Echoes of Yesteryears is my second book, and I put in a lot of emotions into it, and a lot of it inspires me when I even read it over again. There are a lot of twists and all that. Another of my books that I would love people to read, I know they will enjoy, is End Malaria, because End Malaria tells you about the symptoms and all the things associated with malaria, but it talks about it in a very fashionable way, and a way that you will love to read. It talks about the story of a child before it actually goes into the malaria effects and all that. So it's very encouraging, and it's something that children will love to read and learn a lot of lessons from them. The first book I will recommend, even though I recommend all my books, is The Golden Rules. The Golden Rules talk about things that we don't talk about in Africa. A lot of children are molested because they don't know what is right or wrong. So this book talks about things that should not be done to you as a child, that anything is being done to you as a child, you should have the guts, you should have the confidence to go and report to your parents, to your guardian, or to your teacher. The Golden Rules is a book I hold very dear to heart, because I know that if children know what they should know, a lot of bad incidents will not happen to them. So these 4 books, I'll recommend it for anyone who wants to read books, and I'm sure that they would come back to thank me. Sickle Cell Anemia, The Audacity of Hope. It's a book that has drained me emotionally. I don't think any other book has drained me that emotionally, because I realized that it is one of the, if not the only disease that you actually have because of a mistake of your parents. We don't have to have sickle cell children if we do the right thing. I had to interview a lot of children, or a lot of even adults, that have the sickle cell disease, and the pain they go through is not something you wish for your enemy. The book will be launched in June 19th during the Awareness Day for sickle cell. So a lot of awareness needs to be put out there for sickle cell. I'm so passionate about it because some of the people I interviewed, I was in tears after I finished the interview with them. The pain they are going through should not be. Life should not be that difficult. Some of them actually pray for death. It's that bad. One of my wishes for 2025 is that I hope that we can eradicate sickle cell. We can, because it's a self-made disease, and it's just that we need a lot of awareness and knowledge so that we don't bring children into the world to suffer. I'm an African, and this is my story.